Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I have another tutorial for you for my creative scrapbook, and with this tutorial I'm actually working with this month's sketch. So every month with your kit you get an exclusive sketch and you get a set of cut files. So it's really awesome. So I am working with this sketch here, as you can see. So this was a lot of fun to create. I really enjoyed creating this layout. Started off with one thought and it kind of turned into something else, even though I kept, obviously it's the same idea or the same base because I'm working with the sketch, but I thought about maybe bringing in different colors, but in the end it becomes more of a monochromatic layout, and I really like how it turned out. So I am beginning with the background paper is blue paper from the Hazelwood collection, the One Canoe 2 collection, and the green paper is from the Posh collection. So these are the two collections that were featured in the February main kit. So what I'm doing here is I trimmed the inside of the blue paper out because I don't want to waste it. I love that color blue of that paper, and it has like a fun chevron pattern. And then I trimmed down the polka dot paper from Posh, and I'm going to use that on the inside. It's kind of how it is in the sketch. So I thought I was going to bring in this stripe piece of paper, which is from one of the scraps I had from one of the sheets that I used to cut out some of the cut files, but I don't end up using that. So you're going to see me kind of swap it out and change my mind in just a few. So I thought I was going to use this piece as well, and this piece has, it's like a cream color, and then it has polka dots in several colors, but I don't use that either. So I'm going to come in with some of the cut-aparts here, and I'm taking the cut-aparts from this cut-apart sheet from the Hazelwood collection, and I'm going to use some of the pieces from that cut-apart that are in the same coordinating colors. So mainly it's going to be mint and blues is what it's going to be, mint and blue. So green and blue basically. So this is kind of where I thought I was going to go, but I wasn't feeling it, so I'm going to swap it out and you'll see me do that. And I just pulled out, I keep all the kit, for the whole kit I should say, in this iris container just so I have all the pieces in there. So I'm just looking around trying to see what else I want to use. I pulled out a mint paper with some gold foiling, but I don't end up using that either. So I'm just kind of playing around trying to see what I want to use. So at this point I knew for sure I wanted to bring in more of that pretty sort of periwinkle blue color, which is featured in the Hazelwood collection. And that's really pretty color. I love it. I wish there was more of it in more collections. That's something I kind of see coming out now, is more of purples and pretty blues. So I'm really excited about that because I love this blue color. It is so pretty. It's almost like a purple, but it's so pretty. So I am going to use that card that says remember this. But first I'm going to use a white piece of paper to mat that border, or add a border I should say, to that green piece of paper. So I just wanted something to separate it from the outside paper, even though obviously they're two completely different papers, but I wanted something else to kind of show some separation between those two. So here's where I switched everything up. I pulled a piece of green paper. It was the same striped paper that I had, except I flipped it over to the green side. So I'm going to use that, and I will later add a white border to that as well. So here I am cutting apart just a few different papers, all in the same colors. I decided to trim down this white border just a little bit more. I just wanted a really small hint of white around. I didn't want it to be a big deal or to show a lot. I just wanted a nice crisp white border around the whole thing. So I decided I really like that, and I'm going to adhere it down, and I go ahead and do that. And I love these two colors together. They're so pretty for a boy layout, and especially a baby layout, which is what I'm scrapbooking. I loved it. So here I go matting that piece of paper on white. And I did that because obviously that's going to be on top of another mint paper. So I mean, you could just layer them on top of each other. It's not a big deal. But I like the fact that it just kind of separates it a little bit. So I really like that. And then I take this piece, which is a branding strip, and I'm going to use that on top of that border there, or on top of that strip I should say. And then here I am cutting apart a few pieces. This is from the This was from the cut apart sheet, I believe, from the Hazelwood cut apart sheet. And I'm going to, and it was one piece, so what I did is I cut it in half, and then I'm going to use one coming out of the top and one coming out of the bottom to look like it's sort of one whole piece that has been stretched across the whole layout, or the whole, behind my photo, I should say. That tag back there is from the Hazelwood, the One Canoe 2 collection, and that one is actually, that's from the cut apart sheet. So what I decided to do here is take this card, this is from the cut apart sheet from the Hazelwood collection, and I decided to take my craft knife and just cut around the camera and the word "this" so that I could have it sort of interlock with the photo. So it's going to, my photo is going to kind of sit on this card, and it's going to sort of interlock. So that's what I'm doing here, and I just keep going back and cutting a little bit more because I wanted it to slide in a little bit further. So that's why you kind of see me going back and forth with my craft knife. And I'm just going around the edge of that camera and around the edge of the word "this." It's kind of funny because the camera I actually end up covering because I end up using the sticker that has the camera. So you'll see that a little bit later. But yeah, the camera, it actually ends up getting covered. But it's okay. So I matte my photo on this blue paper. And this blue paper has a bunch of polka dots in different colors. Didn't bother me that some of the other colors were kind of sticking out. It's not a big deal, but for the most part you just see the blue border around the photo. Like I said, I wanted to keep this kind of monochromatic, and I am using some foam. This is just inexpensive fun foam that I get at Walmart, and I'm going to use that behind my photo, and that's just going to raise it up and give it some dimension, which I really like. So I'm just getting that adhered down, and I know I want that tag back there, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. And then at this point, I'm just thinking, what else do I do? So I take this piece of, this is one of the cut aparts. I cut out the heart that was inside of that card because I really wanted to use the heart. So I cut it out, and then I just used the actual edge of the card as a border behind that other card. So I really like that pop of that stripe paper. And then this other card I had used on another layout, and I had cut out the flowers that were in it. So I also use that behind this as a layer. And that's something great that you can do, especially with these cut apart sheets, which are great. And a lot of the Simple Stories collection have the cut apart sheets. You can use the image that's on the actual card. You know, you can cut it out or punch it out with a shape punch. And then you can use the card itself as a layer behind a photo. So I will often do that, and just, it's kind of a way to save paper and use up your supplies in different ways. So you're using one card in two different ways. So I really like to do that. So there's where I pulled out the camera, which is the sticker sheet. I thought about having it there at the bottom, but then I thought it was going to be too many cameras because those cameras are kind of big. It's a really big element. So I thought I'm not going to add that down there. I'm going to add that tag with the trees from the sticker sheet. And then I decide to sort of lay my, well, you know what, this layout really has a few titles now that I think about it. Sweet Dream, I guess, is the main title, but I'm also going to add my nephew's name, and then it says remember this underneath the camera, so it's got a bunch of subtitles, I guess. So there's why I decided to add that camera on top of the other camera. It's a little bit bigger, and I really like how it looked. The color on it was just a little bit brighter than the one on the cut apart, so I like how that looked there, and I like how it fit up there. So I'm going to leave that, and then I'm going to use that little currently sticker, which is that same pretty periwinkle blue color, that little banner sticker down there. Just create a little cluster there at the bottom. So the sketch does call for a few clusters around the layout. And I'm going to use that piece, which is kind of like a stamp, and it says love, and that was a perfect color. And that actually had some, I think it was pink or something on the bottom edge. And then I just tucked it in behind the camera, so you can't see that pink color. You only see the mint and the navy. And I'm going to add that key up there as well, create a little cluster up there. Just sort of following the sketch is what I'm doing here. So I'm just adding a few bits and pieces here and there where I feel like it needs it. And this, like I said, it was a lot of fun to make. I really liked making this layout. It took me a long time. It really did. But I really like the end result. I like how it turned out. I like the monochromatic look. I think it's definitely different, and it's a boy layout, which I've been doing a lot of girly layouts lately, so this is a boy layout. So I'm going to use the stickers from the sticker sheet from the Posh collection, and I'm writing out my nephew's name. And I'm going to actually, I think I do it off camera, I'm going to lift everything up and slide that back piece. I think I move it over to the left a little bit. And then, I don't know, I think it just fit better, the name fit better or something, but I don't remember why I did it, but I know I do just slide it over just a smidge. So I did do that. And then since it was backed on white, then I just left a little white piece of border on the right side where I slid it over. So yeah, so I'm thinking of using some of the wood veneer that came in the kit, but I actually don't end up using it. It would have fit nicely, but I don't end up using it. I do decide to cut up these feathers. I decided to fussy cut these feathers because they're so pretty. And that's from a cut apart sheet from the collection. So I'm going to add one down there at the bottom, and then the other one I'm going to add up top to the right hand side of the photo. It's not going to stay there. I'm going to move it. It's going to stay right there. So I like the addition of the feathers. And feathers are fun to use on your layouts. So I'm just moving them around a bit here, trying to decide how I want them to lay. So this is how I'm going to leave them. And the third feather there underneath my nephew's name is actually the chipboard feather. And then I took some of the ribbon that came in the kit and I tried to put it through the tag, but it was just too wide. So what I did is I'm going to cut it down the middle. I'm sure there's a way to tie it on there. I'm sure there is, but I just don't know how. And I didn't look it up. So I just cut it in half and then I just slid it through the tag and I'm going to adhere it down. So it's a faux sort of ribbon thing. I don't know. But yeah, I just cut it in half and slid it through. And it just fit better like that. Through the little holes of that anyway, of that, of those tags. So so I swapped out the feathers again. And I used the chipboard one underneath the name. And that's where it's going to stay. And that chipboard one has some gold foiling. So there are some gold accents throughout this whole layout. That key on the top left, the word dream has gold in it. Just a few bits and pieces here that have gold in them. So what am I doing now? I have no idea what I'm doing. I was backing something with foam. What am I backing with foam? Okay, I backed the key with foam. Okay, so the key has foam. So I'm going to add a few of these hearts. And these are gold hearts from the Hazelwood collection. And I'm going to scatter them around. I'm going to use a total of 3. I'm going to use this gold ampersand. I'm just going to layer it there on the side as a layer behind the photo. Right underneath that feather. And then this little frame, which comes in the sticker sheet as well, I cut it in half, and I'm going to use half down there in that cluster, and I'm going to use the other half under here in this cluster. So that adds another nice little layer back there. So that is basically it. Just, yeah, putting on the finishing touches here. So it was really fun to make this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember to check out My Creative Scrapbook. They have 4 different kits that you guys can choose from, 4 options of kits. So make sure you go and check them out. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Remember, I have videos constantly coming up on my channel. And here's a side-by-side look of the layout and the sketch. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!